colors you will see while you're scuba diving in the sea. Discover the Mediterranean Sea. Scuba diving is all you need to know the wonders of the world hidden down the surface of the blue. Don't waste more time, you become a great instructor in the world. Don't.
Bonjour à tous. Welcome to this new live. So tonight, the fifth live with several people. So that's very nice to meet you tonight. Let me introduce you the other people who join me tonight. Melissa.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
You already know Thomas, the English teacher. And,
hello.
And I introduce you to Jules. And I will tell about Jules at the end of the live. And Melissa will come back at the end of the live to announce a great surprise. So, hello, everybody. That's nice to meet you. Last time I was in French Caribbean. Now I am back to Marseille. So it's always so sunny. I'm sorry. That's very sunny everywhere I go. That's a shame. So I will continue the live with Thomas. So Jules, see you at the end of the live. Melissa, see you at the end of the live. Maybe you can see that there is a new Aquadomia logo. This is a change of image. Yes, right direction. Yeah, it's there. So the aim of this live with Aquadomia Scuba Diving School and Wall Street English France is to gather two training school, one for scuba diving, one for English. And what I can ask you as I think that we are still awaiting some people is maybe to share this live on Facebook. Can you also tell me if the sound is okay for everybody? I can say hello to Clément, hello to Alain, hello to Goda. Yes, okay. So I have only people from Facebook. On YouTube, could you write me a short message to indicate me if this song is okay? So time to people to join us. I will introduce myself again. So I am Vincent from Aquadomia Scuba Diving School. I created 15 years ago in Marseille, in the Calanques National Park, a school dedicated to scuba diving from beginners to instructors, from sports diving and tech diving. Maybe could you introduce yourself, Thomas, now?
Of course. My name is Thomas. I am a teacher with Wall Street English in Aix-en-Provence and Marseille, and I also enjoy scuba diving, and I certainly enjoy our Aquadomia sessions every month with Vincent. So tonight, I'm sure, will be no exception, and I hope that I can get Vincent to talk a little bit about some of his experiences diving for us.
Okay, so this will be a live kind of interview, I think. So please don't forget to share the live, especially on Facebook, to tell me on YouTube if you hear us well, because I know that last time I have some kind of sound problems. And please remind that at every live, we give you a code. And with the code, all the code, you will get a surprise, and you will know the surprise at the end of this live. And if you didn't see the previous live, don't worry, you can't watch them either on Wall Street Facebook, on Aquadomia Facebook, on Wall Street English YouTube channel, and on Aquadomia YouTube channel. So thank you very well to be there. Almost 30 people are there now. So if you want to interview myself, you can do it, Thomas.
Wow.
But not too private questions, please.
Well, you can always refuse to answer, Vincent, but you know, any good journalist is going to ask probing questions. Well, let's not start too personal, but I would like to know how you started and how and why you started diving, and how and why you started Aquadomia.
Oh, that's a very long question. I prefer to answer first with a question to the public. Are you already diver? Are you already easy in English speaking? Donc, est-ce que vous êtes déjà plongeur? Est-ce que vous parlez déjà anglais? Quel est votre niveau d'anglais? Est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire ça dans les commentaires? Et aussitôt, je réponds aux questions. Donc, si vous pouvez nous dire, hein, pour tous ceux qui sont en ligne sur YouTube ou Facebook, quel est votre niveau de plongée? Quel est votre niveau d'anglais? So your question was how I decided to scuba dive. In fact, it was a dream for me when I was young, because I think it was every Sunday at 5 p.m. There was a special series with Commandant Cousteau.
Me too. I watched it every Sunday also in the United States. I loved it.
Okay. And so that's the way I start to dream about sea, about living under the sea and to experiment scuba diving. Okay. Also, I used to do free diving in the swimming pool in my small city. I was born in the north of France, far away from the sea, but we used to have a beautiful swimming pool, and I love to cross the swimming pool without breathing, you know. And I really enjoy that. I was a champion of the town. It's a so small town, it was easy to be a champion, but I really like that. And so I was dreaming about scuba diving. Later, with my parents, we went to holiday several times, a lot of years, to Brittany. Okay. And there I really enjoy to swim, of course. And I use also to buy mask, snorkel, fins, and that was my first approach with the undersea life. Okay.
And how did you become a scuba instructor?
Okay, so first of all, I decided when I was living in Lille from my studies to go on, and I joined a scuba diving club in swimming pool to learn the first level. Okay, so that was the first step, and afterwards, during maybe, I don't know, 15 years, I carry on to study both in my club, both in travel, and I decided to become instructor when I was doing the third level. The third level in scuba diving means to be able to dive with somebody else whenever, whatever you want, at every depth, without any instructors or dive center directors. And when I was doing that, I realized that I wanted to teach, because previously I really didn't want to teach. I wanted to dive for me, for my own. And when I did this training, it was maybe, I was 20, 21, 22. And I decided to start to learn to be instructor. On my first level of instructor, it was in 1994, I think, 1997, with the MF1, Moniteur Fédéral Premier Degré.
And then you started the school Aquadomia in Marseille. How did that happen?
Okay, so when I first became a scuba diving instructor, I just did it for pleasure, without any money, because that was only a leisure for me, a hobby. I didn't want to. I didn't want to work in the scuba diving industry. So I worked during 15 years in Paris in marketing, and doing all the weekend, all the holidays, scuba diving training, and in 2003, my life changed. I decided to do something else. I was pissed off about working in big group, and I decided to go away from Paris and to come to the lovely place I wanted to be. I mean, Marseille, the beautiful city, one of the best beautiful cities in the world. And there I created my activities, my two activities, scuba diving school, and also coaching for business. Okay, and what I created with Aquadomia is what I wanted to find when I decided to dive. The difficulties when you want to get training, to get experiences, is planning. Is when can I do that? And if you find planning, it never match your, how do you say, your agenda, your schedule.
Your schedule, yeah.
Okay, so I decided to do a kind of click and dive company. You just choose your training, you just put your data on it, and you come. And of course, first you pay also.
Great. And so it's been 15 years now?
Yes, it's 15 years now since, that's funny, since the 1st of April.
Okay. And so I imagine that some of your favorite diving spots are around Marseille. But I'm wondering if you have maybe some other favorite dive spots that you could tell us about?
Of course, the best diving spots are in the most beautiful city in the world. That's in Marseille, of course. But in fact, you can find beautiful diving sites everywhere in the world. I have, how do you say, souvenir memory?
Yes.
I have a very good memory on my first dive in north of France. It was in kind of lake, we call it Carrière, in Belgium. That's very cold, but the beer after is cold also. But that's very nice atmosphere. Otherwise, with when I started to dive, the references are changing now. The Eldorado for people from north of France was Marseille. The south of France, it was for us, it was a paradise to dive, warm water, and you needed a long time to come here because no fast train, no TGV.
Yeah.
To come, you needed to have a train for all the night long.
Yeah.
Now the references are changing.
Yes.
Every week consider Mediterranean as cold sea. Okay. But one of the destinations I liked a lot was Egypt with the Red Sea. That's not so far. You need 4 or 5 hours plane. And that's very, 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 very lovely place with beautiful corals, with some sharks, some turtles, some Napoleon fish. I don't know if in English we say that also. A big fish.
I think so. I think they call it a Napoleon fish. I think.
Okay. So, and I have been to a lot of places. What I appreciated in the Red Sea was a kind of camp in the south part. That's a camp, and you stay there and you decide to dive from shore. That's shore dive. You don't use boat. You can go whenever you want. You can go. You have 2 choices: left or right. North Reef, South Reef, and I really enjoyed it. That's a very nice place.
And how about in Marseille? In Marseille, the Calanque, what do you have a favorite place to dive?
Oh yes, I have a lot of favorite place, but if you ask me where I would like to go to dive tomorrow, I will say I love the Farillon. The Farillon, you write it Farellons or Pharillons, and that's a very nice place. Have you already seen Vallon-Pont d'Arc in Ardèche? No?
No.
Okay. In fact, that's Farillon, that's a wall with huge arches on it. That's the biggest arch is about 9 meters diameter, and you can cross it. That's very, very lovely. Not so deep. That's 18 meters deep. And after you have a big wall, a cliff with a lot of gorgonias going till 40 meters. And at the other side, you have one of the biggest wreck, the Liban. So this place, that's a very simple one, not too far. You have a buoy to clip your boat there, and I really, really, really enjoy it. That's very nice. And the story of the Liban, it's it was the first big catastrophe in the history, in the maritime history, with about 300 people died. Okay, and the boat is destroyed now, but a lot of marine life is there with groupers and with lobsters. So that's a nice place. I love this place. Another place I love is, I can see it from there, is the Plongée Island. I think you have heard about it.
Yes.
That's very nice, and that's a place in the middle of nowhere. And big. How do you say? Comment tu dis un phare?
It's a lighthouse.
A lighthouse, yes. That's a very big lighthouse, an automatic one, since when they rebuilt it after the Second War. That's 70 meters high, and that's a reserve area, so no fishing. Okay, so that's very beautiful, and there you have a lot of wreck also, with the famous wreck, the Shawen, and a plane called the Messerschmitt at 43 meters. Very nice one.
Wow. So let's. I wanted to ask you also, when you travel, when you're going to a different dive spot, how do you manage it with all the equipment? How do you travel?
Okay, so that's a good story because that's the point, especially with the weights in the plane. Okay, so the challenge is to travel with all the gears you need and with the less weight you can take. So depending on the destination, maybe you can use rental equipment. You just take your diving computer, and but make sure the rental equipment is a good one.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, the key point is to buy special equipment with light equipment. So that's a criteria to take into account to buy your equipment concerning also the suit, the regulators, the stabilizing jacket. Make it easier as possible. And when I go in expedition with my rebreather, I have to take extra weight in the plane, because when you take a rebreather, you need at least 20 kilos for the rebreather itself, depending if you take the tank or not. Now, in the popular destination, when you take a rebreather, the rebreather, that's what you see on the picture just there. Okay? In the popular destination with this kind of equipment, they manage to have tank for you, so it's less weight to take. But if you need to take everything, if you want to do take dive, if you want to take your rebreather, your DPV, diver propulsion vehicles, an underwater scooter, that's quite heavy weight. Okay, and you have also to take spare parts, of course, if that's depending on the kind of dive you want to do. For instance, when I go to Martinique, I stopped technical diving in Martinique, so I travel very light. But if you go for tech diving, make sure what the diving sector can provide to make sure what you need or not to take. Because for most of the people, a pack of equipment is almost about 20 kilos. So if you are allowed to have 22 kilos, it means you have 2 kilos for your shirts, your trousers, and your jacket.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to know a little bit about some experiences, maybe outside of diving. You know, I know you've traveled and you've dived in exotic places. I don't know if maybe some of the viewers have some specific questions about. Like, I have never been to New Caledonia. I have never been to the French Polynesia, any of these places. Are there some places that you like to visit, even, you know, when you're not diving?
Of course. So if you're speaking about French Polynesia, I really enjoy to go from island to island and to visit the places. When you go in live boats to Maldives, that's a nice opportunity to go to the island to meet the people and to see how the lives there. I really enjoy to do a safari also when I've been to Kenya and Tanzania. In Mexico, I really enjoy to see how do you say, the temple?
Yeah. The Mayan temples, or
yes, Mayan temples. When I've been to to Philippines. When I went there, you didn't have any kind of tourism. So it was amazing to meet people there on the island because they were so, you became a curious thing to see, you know, and they were very welcoming. I really enjoy also when I went to La Réunion to hike and to go across to the volcano. What else? I really enjoy also an exotic place, but less exotic, I will say, when I went to Scotland. Scotland in the Clyde estuary to visit Glasgow, this great town, but with fantastic pub and atmosphere there. What else I will say? In French Polynesia, I really enjoy the food, the fishes. They eat Tahitian fish. You don't put it on the fire. That's only with lemon, you know.
So you eat it raw. You don't cook it.
No, you don't cook it. Okay. And that's very, very nice. I was sure I wasn't able to eat that because for me, poisson cru was forbidden. But I tried this once and it was wonderful.
Great.
What else about concerning destination? I really enjoy Cuba. Cuba, it was amazing because it was at a different, now it's open to tourism. But at the time I went there, every morning there was a soldier on the boat to check all the passports to make sure you were okay with the laws. We had to wait maybe 5 minutes, maybe 1 hour, the okay of this chief. That was amazing, you know. In the Red Sea, I also, of course, enjoy some tour in the desert with quad or camels. Wow. I know that's not very éco-citoyen, but it was. How do you say éco-citoyen?
I don't know, maybe eco-friendly.
Yes.
But it sounds like now when you go scuba diving, you have many different criteria. In fact, it's not just the dives. It's the people, it's the food, it's the adventure. It's you think of a lot of different things before you go on a dive trip.
Yes, depending on what you want. It's of course the quality of the dive is interesting, but you know, a friend of mine, a client who became a scuba instructor, told me, you know, I went in Vietnam and I was in an area where the diving spots were not incredible. A very shallow dive, not a lot of things to see. We needed about 2 hours boat to have more than 12 meters depth for scuba diving. But the people enjoy it because the atmosphere on the boat was incredible. That's one of the criteria. You can go in a very nice place, but if you don't have professional to welcome, by professional, I mean people with positive briefing, with services, you won't appreciate it. Okay. Yes. The good criteria also is the explanation people are giving to you for the dive. It could be technical explanation, explanation about the biology. I promise you, you can go on the same diving site doing 2 groups with one guy who doesn't care about life, doesn't care about explaining you, showing you, and the other group with a guide who explain what to do, explain what to see, explain what happens between the different species, and ask the question to the two groups. One of the group will say, wow, that's an amazing site. I love it. It's incredible. And the other group will say, oh, what a boring site. I never want to go there again.
Yeah. Wow, the experience that we have is so much determined by the dive instructor or the information, the ambiance that we have on the boat. All of this is so critical for a good dive.
Yes. Excuse me, I missed your question as I was trying to read the comments. Could you?
No, I'm just saying, I'm just agreeing with you that the experience that we have when we have a dive is very much determined by the dive instructor and the information that we can have, the ambiance on the dive boat, and you know, like you said, in Vietnam, his experience was a really fantastic experience, even though the dives were not that interesting. So you know, so tonight I think we're really talking about different aspects of diving, not just the technical aspects like we have talked about in the past, but kind of the people that make the difference, the food, the adventures, so I also wanted to ask you about, I guess we could say, when we travel, if you travel a long distance, like if you go to the Maldives, I guess we said Maldives, if you travel someplace, what kind of advice could you give us for going diving after a long flight?
Okay, so this is very hard advice to understand. Very simple to understand, but difficult to do it. When you have a long flight, first advice is to move in the plane for the legs and to drink water. Not coca, no rum, no champagne, water. Water to keep yourself hydrated. Is that a good word?
Hydrated.
Hydrated. To keep hydrated. And it shows that when you pay so many, because when you go to Maldives or French Polynesia, it costs money for the flight. And it costs money for the dive. Everything costs a lot of money. And what do you usually those people? They want to dive, to be sure to amortir.
To get their money's worth of.
Yes. Okay. And the best advice is whoa. Relax. Start to sleep first, to hydrate yourself. Don't mind if the people who welcome you insist on doing a first very shallow dive. Take it on your rate. What I don't like is, to be sure you get on your money, the lifeboat organized leader try to convince you that they are the best. So come with me. You will have 5 dives a day. 5 dives a day. No.
Whoa.
Go there. 1 dive is okay. 2 dives, okay.
Yeah.
3rd, why not? But 4 dives a day, no. I'm there to relax, and I want to keep myself safe. Okay.
Yeah.
So my advice will be try to keep in mind that's not because you will dive more and more that you will enjoy more. Be careful about your safety and try to be relaxed. And another advice I will say, as a lot of people are starting scuba diving, to make sure they will see the biggest shark in the world. That's my aim. I want to see a big shark.
And take a photo, and they want to take a photo of it.
Take a photo, okay? So you can do it. It costs money. I did it, but afterward it's become as a safari. You have a lot of, you have plane watching the sea. Oh, okay. Hello, the whale shark is there, and everybody is coming with a lot of noise, disturbing this beautiful animals. And you go there and you take your picture. You can be there like this. Oh, look, a selfie with the whale shark. So, of course, that's nice. But please pay attention to the marine life. There is also a very beautiful life in a small piece of water in the public garden close to you. There is beautiful things in Mediterranean Sea, in North Sea, in the lake, in the center of France. If you see the, I don't know the English word, a perche, un brochet dans un in a carrier or in a lake, that's very nice. That's so nice. So if you learn to approach and to understand marine life, you will appreciate every kind of dive, even in a lake 30 kilometers far from Paris. I promise, it's very nice. Try to look on Facebook, pictures from scuba diving in lakes. Of course, that's cold. It means that's 5 Celsius degrees at 30 meters. But you have beautiful life there. And once you understand that, you don't need to take a plane for 18 hours. You can enjoy your dive very close to you.
But this is something almost like a philosophical change that you're talking about, that instead of going for the biggest shark and the selfie with the whale shark, to learn to appreciate seeing a perch in a lake or you know, the beauty of nature. This is something that it's very beautiful, but I think some people, you know, they want to put photos on Facebook, and they want to have you know, tell their friends about their experiences.
Okay, we can speak also about sustainable development, you know. And how do you say in English, bilan carbone?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. We have to look at our carbon footprint. Our carbon footprint. So our footprint, right? When our foot, you know, goes into the sand, we have a footprint, and our carbon footprint is how much, you know, carbon dioxide are we emitting when we fly and we do different things. And yes, I think you're right. We need to be more responsible.
Yeah. And I think a way to do it, for me, that's easy to say that. I have done a lot of short trip to very nice place, and living like a Parisian, you know. Okay, I live on Saturday, I dive on Sunday till next Saturday, and I am back to work on the next Monday with all the picture to show to colleagues. Okay, but now things are different. I prefer to gather holidays and to do a third week's trip, maybe every 2 years or every 3 years. But I won't encourage 1 week trip. Please, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And for the carbon footage. No,
Footprint.
for the carbon
Footprint.
footprint, it's better because that's not for 1 week, but for 3 weeks.
Mm.
I know I will maybe tell it to you, but you didn't ask the question. But for instance, when I go to Martinique, I go there for 2 months, but of course that's for work. Sorry, work. But maybe I will change destination, maybe not faster, plus loin.
No, farther. Farther.
Further. And so maybe for more time. I don't like the small trip. Of course, your boss won't maybe agree for 2 months.
Well, we will do our best. I wanted to ask you about Marseille. For divers who come to Marseille and they go diving with you. Do you have some things to suggest? You know, I mean, I think our confinement is maybe going to be finished before too long. What could you suggest? When people are not diving, what do you love about Marseille? What do you suggest to people when they come to Marseille?
Okay, my advice to people who wants to come to Marseille, and if they didn't dive since a long time, please subscribe a scuba review. 1 day of scuba review. That should be compulsory. It could be with Aquadomia or somebody else, whatever. But if you believe that after 6 months of inactivity, you dive the same as previously, and also the things are changing concerning the behavior with the environment. Now we are on crazy day because during confinement, how do you call it in English?
We can say confinement or lockdown.
During lockdown, nothing happened on the sea. Okay, and when the lockdown is finished, everybody's coming, and that's a nightmare for the marine life. So, what I would like to advise is make a scuba review, learn to improve your buoyancy and your trim. Are changing. We were used to teach diving like this, with this movement of fins, with this position. That's a way to dive from the last century. Now it's to dive horizontally with frog kick, which means no interferences with the floor, and less impact on the marine life. And so that's the main point. And please, you know that everybody wants to dive the weekend. So if you want to be sure to see big human life as me, come the weekend, and you will see a lot of divers everywhere. So take into account this affluency and come in the middle of the week. You know, in the Parc National Park, in the not in the sea, but generally in the Parc National Park, now they try to convince us to do de-marketing. It means the opposite of marketing, because the Parc National Park is too crowded during the weekend. And we have the same phenomenon in the sea. So that's a nightmare. And for us, a dive center, for us, that's a little bit different. We have a scuba diving school working essentially during the week. But try to understand the business of a dive center. The only demand they have, that's during the weekend. They didn't work during the confinement. So they need to accept this business. But that's a disaster for the sea. So please take this into account. If you want to come to Marseille, you are welcome, of course, but make first a scuba review with an instructor who teach you how many weights to wear, who teach you notions of trim, of frog kick, to avoid to be a nightmare for the marine life. That's my key advices. And I will add, that's very important to drink when you dive, but please avoid the plastic bottles. How do you say a gourde ou thermos?
You can bring a thermos, right? A thermos.
Okay. Yeah. Because every time you take a bottle of water, a third of them are finishing in the ocean. Yeah.
Good advice. So, and when the dive is finished, and these dive students or these people on vacation, they are in Marseille. Do you have some advice? Some places that you like to bring your friends or bring your students in Marseille?
In Marseille, you have a lot of places. You know them. I will advise. First of all, I know that everybody who is doing scuba diving training wants to sleep in the evening.
Because they're tired. Yeah.
Yes. But one of the things you need to discover is this famous plate from Marseille is La Bouillabaisse.
Yes.
That's very nice plate, a real one, not a bouillabaisse for tourists. A real bouillabaisse is about 50 to 70 quid, euros. And the best place for me, they don't pay me for that. It's the rule on the Corniche. That's very, very nice place. I will also recommend, if you don't have 70 euros, just go on Prado Beach with a sandwich, but please take your bin back to your house.
Yeah,
that's a nice place. I love also, I have my Calanque, the Mordieu Calanque. It's very nice, very, very nice. You have a place there, we are friends now, that's the Nautique. There you can find a good bouillabaisse, but also a nice dishes. It's better to book. That's, if you go there, I think you will see me because I'm there very often. Also to visit a Frioul Island. They are just there. In 15 minutes, no, in 1 hour, I will see the sunset on Frioul Island.
Me too.
That's a very lovely place. I like to organize private scuba diving day with 2 dives in the morning, finishing at about 1 p.m. And afterwards, we go to Frioul Island to eat at the restaurant. And that's
nice.
Amazing because I park the boat just in front of the restaurant.
Yeah.
You can't do that everywhere else.
I went for a nice dive at the Frioul Islands at, I think it's a small island, Tiboulin.
Yes, Tiboulin du Frioul.
Tiboulin, yeah. It was a very nice dive. I liked it.
That's a very lovely place. I particularly love it, especially for sunset. That's a dive that's better to do at the end of the day because there is a cliff, a wall, in fact, and the sun is coming there in the afternoon and at the end of the day. And one of the reasons I like it, and one of the reasons I like all the places in Marseille, that's what we call a multi-level diving site. It means you can do an introductory dive at 6 meters and see a lot of fish with octopuses, sea stars, and so on. And you can also do to this cliff, which is amazing. It's starting at 22 meters, ending at 38 meters, and you have a lot of sponges, gorgonias, and wow! Just take a torch, and you will see the red gorgonias. That's amazing. And on the how do you say, the plateau?
Yeah, on the plateau. Yeah,
On the plateau. I used to say you have 3 groupers there, but now you have maybe 15 groupers. So that's a very, very, very lovely place. Definitely love it.
Well, you know, that really makes me want to go diving, and I'm sure that it makes a lot of people watching want to come to Marseille and to go diving with you. I don't know when we are going to have Melissa talking to us about some kind of special pricing that they have, but it really, I did this dive at Tibolène, and I loved it. And I think diving in Marseille, as you say, is it's really fantastic.
Yes, I during this lockdown, no.
Yeah, lockdown or confinement.
Lockdown, confinement, and every time people can't travel, because I think that 1/3 and maybe 50% of the scuba divers in France never dive in France. Yes, they used to start to dive in Bali, in Thailand, in Martinique, in Guadeloupe, but never in France itself. And when they start to dive here, they find it cold. But afterward, they say, "Oh, I couldn't imagine it was so nice."
Yeah.
I promise you, that's the truth. We have very beautiful sites here. The reputation is people are convinced they will find dead people, cars. And no. And the advantages we have here, we have very different diving sites. It means you can see seagrass, you can see beautiful cliffs, you can see caves, you can see wrecks, and that's amazing. Once I had an instructor from Bali coming here because it was forbidden to dive to Bali due to the volcano. It was 3 or 4 years ago, and he told me, you know, in Bali we have a very good chance. We know how to sell the dives, because the dives are not so famous, but make a wonderful business. And with so many beautiful diving spots, no more business. How do you do?
Well, hopefully you will have some people coming, I think, to go diving very, very soon. So I hope maybe we'll have some Wall Street English students coming to dive.
Yes, that's the aim also on this live. So now I will introduce Melissa to come to the show. And if you want to come diving, Thomas, today I was not diving. I was explaining the machine you see, the réseaux rebriefer to students. But tomorrow I will go diving. If you want to dive,
I will. I promise you, I will come one of these days, Vincent. I will be there.
So Melissa will come with us, and before introducing her, I will give you the famous letter. You have seen the 4 previous lives with, and now I give the 5th letters. And if you gather the 5th letter, the 5 letters, you will get the promo code to benefit the offers Melissa will tell us. So for today, the code is D D comme défaussé, D comme Daniela, D comme diving. Et Mélissa, je te laisse les paroles pour parler des super offres que nous propose Wall Street English France. Mélissa, mets ton micro, s'il te plaît.
C'est vrai que c'est mieux comme ça. Donc, c'est vrai que là, déjà, merci beaucoup, Vincent. Ça a été un plaisir de vous écouter, Thomas et toi, lors de ces lives. Et à cette occasion, donc Wall Street English a décidé de faire des promotions exceptionnelles, des remises de 10% sur tous les produits, pouvant aller jusqu'à 25% environ, pardon. Également sur des promotions sur la préparation pour le TOEIC, donc 30 heures en individuel. Et le meilleur reste à venir pour tout forfait supérieur ou égal à 12 mois. Wall Street s'engage à participer à hauteur de 100 € et Aquadomia de 50 €, donc soit une réduction de 150 € sur les packs de plongée pour toute inscription avant fin avril.
Super, Mélissa. J'espère que personne n'a entendu. Merci beaucoup, Mélissa. C'est super. Pardon, excusez-moi. C'est pas le Covid, hein, je vous rassure. Autrement, je mets un masque, hein, si ça vous inquiète. Je voulais parler aussi des offres que nous allons développer, hein, puisque le but de ce partenariat, en fait, il n'y avait pas vraiment de but, il y avait de l'envie. Hein, de l'envie, et là je vous remercie Thomas et Mélissa, de l'envie de faire un atelier d'anglais en ayant la plongée comme support. Ça nous a fait voyager puisqu'on est allé à Marseille, en Martinique, etc. Et après je répondrai à ta question que tu m'as pas posée, Thomas, hein. N'oublie pas. La volonté aussi pour Aquadomia d'apporter quelque chose en plus à ses clients. Hein, nous, le but du jeu, c'est de vous faire avancer, que ce soit en plongée, que ce soit professionnellement dans la plongée. Et dès qu'on parle d'avancer dans la plongée, dès qu'on parle de voyage, dès qu'on parle de travailler dans la plongée, l'anglais est indispensable. Donc, on cherche vraiment à développer ça. C'est pour ça qu'on s'est rapproché de Wall Street. Et on développe aussi, alors je vais représenter Jules. Jules, j'espère que tu es coiffé, hein. Je t'ai demandé d'avoir la même coupe que moi. Jules va apparaître à l'écran. Vous allez voir, c'est l'un des critères de recrutement des stagiaires. Et bravo, Jules, tu es coiffé comme moi. Donc, Jules qui a comme mission de notamment m'épauler aussi, d'apporter des très bonnes idées pour développer l'anglais. Jules, je te laisse te présenter en quelques mots.
Eh ben, je m'appelle Jules, j'ai 25 ans, je suis en stage chez Aquadomia avec Vincent pour passer mon DEGEPS de plongée subaquatique pour tout l'été, pour 3-4 mois là. Donc je vais travailler là-bas l'été. Et est-ce que tu veux que je parle du produit qu'on veut développer?
Allez, en 7 secondes ou 9 secondes. Allez, 7 à 9 secondes.
On voudrait faire 2 produits en fait. Un produit pour les étrangers qui veulent démarrer la plongée en anglais. Ici à Marseille, et aussi on aimerait faire un produit pour les plongeurs français qui connaissent déjà un petit peu et qui voudraient améliorer leur anglais, notamment dans le domaine de la plongée. Voilà.
Super Jules, très bonne initiative, sachant qu'on est aussi en pourparlers, hein, Mélissa, avec Wall Street English pour faire des mini-événements anglais avec des vrais spécialistes comme l'anglais, parce que vous l'avez vu, je parle anglais, Jules, il est bilingue anglais, mais j'ai quand même beaucoup moins de facilité que notre professeur américain qui me pose une dernière question.
Maybe Melissa could help me with this last question because she's got a better memory than I do. I don't remember the last question.
Me neither. Maybe you can help us.
Cool. Maybe you can help us.
La dernière question était peut-être une amorce de scoop sur une prochaine destination.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that. I knew that was a secret. But what are you thinking about for next year?
Ok. Alors, je vais faire une annonce. I do an announcement. I want the public to participate. Okay, I offer. Hola, yes, I offer a discovery, rebreather discovery dive to the first one to guess the destination for the next winter university. I can tell you that it won't be Martinique anymore because I decided to change. So I would like you to play. If you find the destination, be careful, there is only one winner. Indonesia, no, wrong, Charline. So vous pouvez gagner un baptême recycleur de plongée si vous trouvez la destination qui sera choisie. Si vous trouvez ce soir, ce sera un baptême de plongée sur ce mois-ci, bien sûr. Je ne vais quand même pas faire ça toute l'année. Pour la personne qui me devine la destination de la prochaine université d'hiver, Aquadomia. La Réunion, c'est perdu, Alain, c'est perdu. Les Philippines, Charline, c'est perdu. Guada, c'est perdu, Virginie. Allez, il y a encore 10 chances. Égypte, c'est perdu. Guadeloupe, c'est perdu.
Plus loin.
Alors, Mayotte, c'est perdu. Alors, Nicolas, je n'ai pas compris ce que tu as dit. Corsica, c'est perdu.
Non, plus loin.
C'est perdu. Bali, c'est perdu. Ah, je pense que nous aurons... Alors, PF, qu'est-ce que c'est, PF? Tu peux détailler?
Oui, oui, c'est ça. Quelqu'un a gagné.
Eh oui, il a gagné. Il a gagné s'il détaille ce que ça veut dire PF. Nouvelle-Calédonie, perdu. Saint-Martin, perdu. Mexico, Nouvelle-Calédonie. Nicolas, dépêche-toi. Polynésie, bravo, Nicolas.
Voilà, c'est là.
Bravo, Nicolas. Tu as gagné un baptême recycleur. Alors, le jeu est pipé quand même. Le jeu est pipé parce que Nicolas est en formation recycleur avec moi à la fin de la semaine. Donc, effectivement, il va faire son baptême recycleur. Il ne connaissait pas la destination. Mais voilà. Alors, ce que je vous propose, on va bientôt finir le live. Ce qui serait bien, c'est d'avoir un temps d'échange pour ceux qui ont participé plusieurs fois à ce live, pour ceux qui veulent donner des conseils à Jules qui est en stage chez nous. Donc Jules, je rappelle, c'est quelqu'un qui est en stage DEJEPS. C'est le plus haut niveau de plongée française, le diplôme d'État. Donc pour ça, il a déjà fait le niveau 4, etc. C'est ce qui permet d'enseigner en France et partout dans le monde, mais en France contre rémunération. Donc si vous avez... Alors Zora a trouvé aussi Polynésie française, mais c'était après Nicolas. Donc désolé, ça ne marche pas. Le jeu est terminé. Donc, vous avez eu un scoop, effectivement. Donc, si vous avez des remarques à faire, que ce soit à Thomas, à Mélissa, à Jules ou à moi-même, ou si vous voulez juste qu'on raccroche et qu'on mette la vidéo, on arrête. Mais vos commentaires seront bienvenus. Entre-temps, le temps que les commentaires arrivent, Mélissa, tu veux nous dire un petit mot?
Alors, je reviens. Pour moi, c'est toujours autour de la plongée. C'est encore vraiment un grand remerciement à toi, Vincent, à toi, Thomas, Jules aussi, du coup, qui nous a rejoint pour ce dernier live, et surtout à tous les participants. Parce que c'est vrai que sans les participants, le live n'aurait pas été aussi vivant. Donc vraiment, un grand merci à tous, et j'espère pouvoir vous retrouver très vite à Wall Street.
Alors, Mélissa, ce soir, il y a quand même encore 33 participants en ligne. Et nous sommes 4 ici. Ça fait donc 36 témoins, y compris moi. Allez, 35 témoins. Quand est-ce que tu viens plonger avec moi, Mélissa?
Dès que possible.
Voilà, demain matin, c'est top. Bon, alors, je fais une demande en live à ton patron. Philippe, est-ce que tu peux libérer Mélissa demain matin, s'il te plaît? Réponds-nous en commentaire. Thomas, quel mot pour la fin?
I'll just say thank you, Vincent. It was nice for me to hear some of your experiences, your favorite dive sites, what you like to do when you're not diving. So as always, it's nice to speak with you. But tonight it was nice to hear a little bit more about some of your favorite places.
Merci. Alors, je vois qu'on n'a pas eu beaucoup de questions. J'ai une question de Nicolas qui dit à partir de quel âge les cours? Alors, pour les cours de plongée, on peut dire qu'on peut commencer la plongée à partir de 8 ans. Vaut mieux attendre 10-12 ans. Pour les cours d'anglais, Mélissa, c'est à partir de quel âge?
Donc, il y a des semaines Teen Week, donc spécial adolescent. Sinon, les formations, étant donné que c'est quand même plus vers un domaine professionnel, on les recommande plutôt à partir de 16 ans. Mais pour les plus jeunes, vraiment, n'hésitez pas avec les Teen Week.
Alors, ce que je voulais apporter quand même comme complément sur l'offre Wall Street English France Marseille, ce n'est pas parce que c'est Wall Street English France Marseille que vous êtes obligé de venir à Marseille. C'est mieux pour faire la formation. Les formations, tu m'arrêtes si je me coupe, Mélissa, mais les formations Wall Street English peuvent tout à fait être faites en distanciel avec un système révolutionnaire d'e-learning qui a fait ses preuves et qui fait que Wall Street est le premier. Et ensuite, des cours en réel qui peuvent être faits en distanciel, en visio, avec des vrais profs, comme Thomas par exemple. C'est ça, Mélissa?
Exactement. Et avec le distanciel, donc bien entendu, les profs, tout comme en centre, viennent de pays anglophones, mais également en distanciel, vous pouvez avoir des élèves de différents pays. Donc, ce qui est pas mal pour pouvoir travailler l'accent, notamment pour les voyages, pour ensuite pouvoir partir plonger à l'étranger.
Ok, alors, je vais laisser un petit mot à Jules aussi. Ce que j'aimerais bien maintenant, pardon, excusez-moi, ce qui me ferait plaisir, c'est si tout le monde pouvait poster un petit mot, le mot qui vous vient à l'esprit. Ça peut être champagne, ça peut être mouton, ça peut être goéland. Vous n'avez pas le droit de dire Covid. Un petit mot pour nous encourager à la fin. Chacun un petit mot. Et puis après, on vous laisse. Jules, est-ce que tu as quelque chose à ajouter, s'il te plaît?
Oui, je peux pas me répondre dans les commentaires. Je voulais répondre tout à l'heure, mais j'ai pas pu le faire. Je sais pas, je suis pas inscrit encore, je crois. C'était pour dire à Zora et Patricia, si mes souvenirs sont bons, qui discutaient en début de séance, qui disaient qu'elles voulaient d'abord apprendre à nager avant de faire de la plongée. Alors, vous n'avez pas besoin d'être de bonnes nageuses pour faire de la plongée. C'est assez différent, en fait. Un bon nageur n'est pas automatiquement un bon plongeur et inversement. Voilà.
Super, j'avais pas vu passer ces questions, Jules, bravo, c'est génial. Alors, ne t'inquiète pas, tu ne pourrais pas répondre aux commentaires simplement parce que tu es connecté comme administrateur, là, c'est pour ça, je pense.
D'accord.
Alors, Virginie qui nous dit merci pour cette présentation. Alors, Zora qui dit à Mélissa, ce n'est pas une réponse, ça c'est la date pour la plongée. Nicolas qui a gagné le baptême recycleur, le tricheur, à demain. À partir de quel âge on peut donner les cours? Isabelle qui te dit Franck, c'est bon courage pour le GPS. Merci Isabelle. On a Miro qui nous dit dipnost. Alors, est-ce que vous savez ce que c'est qu'un dipnost? Le dipnost, c'est un poisson d'eau douce, il me semble, qui a la capacité de marcher hors de l'eau. Je me trompe peut-être, j'espère que non, autrement j'ai l'air un peu ridicule. Malheureusement, ma destination plongée est la France. Moi, je pars de étranger pour aller en France. Eh bien, bienvenue Louis, tu as bien raison. J'en suis fan, pas vous. Goda est fan. Alors, je ne sais pas si c'est de Vincent, de Thomas, de Mélissa ou de Jules. Faites attention dans vos commentaires, ils peuvent apparaître à l'écran. Eh ben, je crois qu'on va en terminer là. Merci beaucoup pour votre participation. Merci aux équipes Wall Street. Et puis, j'espère qu'on a montré là la capacité de faire des partenariats entre des sociétés qui n'ont pas forcément à l'origine grand-chose à voir. Et puis, je vais vous lancer la vidéo de fin. Et le mot de la fin, c'est Kevin qui le dit. C'est bien ça, c'est vrai, c'est top. Super. Eh bien, je lance la vidéo de la fin. Je vous souhaite une très, très bonne soirée. Bien sûr, rendez-vous sur les réseaux sociaux de Wall Street English France, sur les réseaux sociaux d'Aquadomia et sur les sites aquadomia.com, Wall Street. Rappelle-moi l'adresse Wall Street.
Alors, je crois que c'est .fr, j'ai un doute aussi. Oh là là, la mauvaise community manager. .com, pardon.
Allez, je lance une vidéo Allez, on va rigoler un petit peu. Je vous lance le clip délirant que j'ai lancé l'an dernier. Tu te languis à ton boulot, ton oreille elle est mollo, passer moins de longues heures, arriver sur l'ordinateur, tu te dis que le bonheur, lui il est peut-être ailleurs, t'as pas souvenir des moments, dans le ventre de maman, et tu le sens pourtant. Le bonheur subaquatique, à Marseille ou Martinique, et vivre la pesanteur, t'émerveiller à toute heure. Lance-toi avec Aquadomia. Se former là-bas, c'est une sacrée chance. Certains croient même que t'es en vacances. C'est cool, c'est top, c'est beau, c'est extra. Revêtir une seconde pause pour enfin faire le grand saut. Te jeter maintenant à l'eau. Oui, c'est ça. Pour un monde tout bleu, tout beau. Oui, c'est beau. Découvrir ton nouveau souffle. Et appréhender l'équilibre. Parcourir un monde de ouf. Tu vis, tu mouves et tu vibres. Accepter la pression. Vivre une passion. Super passion. Maîtriser ta respiration. Ah oui. Accueillir tes émotions. Lance-toi avec Aquadomia. Former là-bas, c'est une sacrée chance. Certains croient même que t'es en vacances. C'est cool, c'est top, c'est beau, c'est extra. Le bonheur subaquatique à Marseille ou Martinique, et vivre la pesanteur, s'émerveiller à toute heure. Le bonheur subaquatique à Marseille ou Martinique, et vivre la pesanteur, s'émerveiller à toute heure.